Welcome back, everybody. Matt here. As you can see, I got my Iron Man shirt on today, and that is because we are going to talk about Marvel, mainly the MCU. You know, we started back in 2008 with Iron Man 1, and in 2019 we ended with Endgame, Avengers Endgame. So for almost 11 years, Marvel was on a hot streak. And for some reason, so far, I think a lot of people feel that Marvel Phase 4 hasn't lived up to the previous phases in the MCU. Why is that? The big question becomes, is Marvel starting to buckle under its own weight? Or are we as fans been so spoiled for the past 11 years that, the Marvel movies aren't what they used to be? And we're really starting to see that more. Is it because Kevin Feige has too much on his plate between not only the movies but now TV shows on Disney Plus? Now I have a few topics of why the MCU Phase 4 isn't living up to the previous phases. Why I think it's not necessarily that it's buckling, I think it's just rebuilding. And not only that, but going through the phases that we've already had and what the ups and downs of each phase. That could be a certain movie that wasn't as good as other movies in that phase. So, let's get into it. Marvel Phase 4 started with Black Widow last summer. In terms of the movies, we got Black Widow, then we got Shang-Chi, then we got Eternals, then we got Spider-Man No Way Home. And then this year we've already got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And last week we got Thor Love and Thunder. And we still got one more movie this year, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, coming out in November. We're going to probably get a trailer for that a week from today. I'm filming this on Saturday, July 16th. In 1 week is Comic-Con. Marvel's apparently gonna blow the doors off of giant announcements. And one of them is gonna be the first trailer for Black Panther 2. So we've gotten how many movies so far this year? So far in Phase 4. 6 movies. And we're going to have number 7 before the end of the year. 7 movies into Phase 4. And I would say only one of those movies has been really, really, really good. And that's Shang-Chi. Black Widow was fine, but first of all, Black Widow came out at the wrong time. That movie should have came out since it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. I've said that many times. That movie should have came out between Civil War and Infinity War, or at the very, least, or the last minute release date should have been before Endgame. So that's one. And Black Widow was alright, The thing that hurt that film was not a strong villain, and a lot of the action scenes were either cut too quickly in the edit or too close up where you can't even see what was going on. And also, as we know that Scarlett Johansson died in Endgame, we knew that Scarlett Johansson wasn't going to return. So the movie itself was kind of like, alright, well, we know what happens to her. So what was the point? Then we got Shang-Chi, and I like Shang-Chi. I think the only thing that hurt that movie a little bit for me, even on second viewing, was I thought the third act kind of went on too long. Especially once they had that dragon thing, fighting that. And then a few scenes with Ben Kingsley of returning from Iron Man 3, bringing more of his humor. I thought some of that worked, some of it didn't. Especially on the second viewing of that movie. But once again, a strong character lead, one of the best villains in the MCU, great action scenes, fun, entertaining. Like I said, so far, one of the best MCU Phase 4 movies, if not the best so far. But how does that stack with other MCU movies? That's the real debate. Then we got Spider-Man No Way Home, being a Spider-Man fan, second superhero in the entire, in all of superheroes. I enjoyed the movie, it was fun, it was enjoyable, but once again, the best parts of that movie were taking characters from previous, way better Spider-Man movies, like William Dafoe returning as Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1. Obviously bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Tobey Maguire is still my favorite Spider-Man, so seeing Tobey Maguire made me happy. But that's what the movie relied on, was more of the bringing back what we already knew what was good or great, and putting him in that movie. The first act is all clunky, especially watching that a second time. You know, they never even say the word Matt Murdock when Charlie Cox shows up. It's almost like everyone is supposed to know who that was. But the funny part is, if you didn't watch the Daredevil show on Netflix, yeah, now it's on Disney Plus, but before Spider-Man came out, it was still on Netflix, and that's an R-rated show. So if you didn't watch Daredevil, you have no idea who that actor was. Yeah, they never said Matt Murdock. And he's not in his Daredevil costume. So, but overall, you know, it was good. Like I said, it's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. Not my second. Not my third. Maybe my fourth. But it worked with, like I said, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield stuff. And William Dafoe and Alfred Molina. Once again, all the best parts of the previous Spider-Man movies. So we got Spider-Man, then we got Eternals, which, to me, by far, is the worst MCU movie in the entire MCU. Not even just Phase 4. In the entire MCU. So that's a real bummer. And then we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in May of this year. I enjoyed like I said in my review, I enjoyed the horror aspects. Elizabeth Olsen did a great job. Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job. But you had a movie called The Multiverse of Madness, and you only went to 2 other universes. And all the hype about, oh, we might see this actor and this character and this character. And really, like even now, you can take out that entire Illuminati scene, and it wouldn't change any of the movie. Not at all. And you never felt any impact in that scene whatsoever. So, you know, overall to me it was a letdown. I don't think it was as good as the original Doctor Strange. So, that right there. It's not like the first Doctor Strange is like top 3 MCU. It's not. And then we got, like the last week, we got Thor Love and Thunder. I enjoyed it. Really, right now, I'd probably go back and watch Thor Love and Thunder more than probably any of the other Phase 4 movies. It was fun. Like I said, Chris Hemsworth was good. Natalie Portman was great. Christian Bale was great. I wish they leaned more on the drama and serious moments than on the humor. I thought the goats were a little too much after a while. You know, looking back on the movie, I didn't realize this in my review. Christian Bale's character is called Gore the God Butcher. Gore the God Butcher. I want to repeat that twice. Because I realize in the entire movie, we never see him kill any god. A 2-hour movie, and Gore the God Butcher doesn't kill any god. Not a one. Apparently a lot of scenes got cut from the movie, so maybe in those scenes he killed other gods. But in the movie in theaters, we never see Gore the God Butcher kill anyone. Okay, except the opening scene. That's it. One scene in the opening. That's it. Yeah, I didn't realize it until, someone brought it up in a review, and I'm like, oh yeah. He didn't kill anybody. Alright. Don't know why, but okay. But still, overall, I enjoyed the movie. But once again, is that top tier MCU for me? No. It's not even the best Thor movie. So, you know. But then we got Black Panther coming out, and we know that Chadwick Boseman ain't going to be in it. Because he passed away last year due to cancer. So we don't even know who's going to be the main Black Panther in the Black Panther movie. We just found out that Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Black Panther 1, he's not returning for Black Panther 2. We don't know if Michael B. Jordan's going to show up. So right now we have no clue anything about this Black Panther movie that comes out in November, in just a couple months. Maybe the trailer will give us some idea of what this movie is going to be about. Because you don't have your lead, you don't even have a co-lead. We don't know when Michael B. Jordan is returning. Why is it even called Black Panther? It just be called Wakanda. That's it. Just called it Wakanda. It would have been a whole lot. Eventually, if the movie does not work, yeah, but we'll see. Like I said, I have hope for that movie because the first Black Panther movie was really, really good. I think that is a lot of top 10 MCU in most people's list, maybe even top 5. So, there is hope for that movie. And then we got Ant-Man 3 in February. And, that I enjoy Paul Rudd a lot as Ant-Man. I know they're going to bring in Kang from Loki, so that's going to be good. But I'm also one of the few that will say, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel, and the original Ant-Man, to me is one of the worst MCU movies. That movie is so boring to me that it's literally like low-level MCU. And at first after I saw that movie, I thought maybe, it came out right after Infinity War, which is such a major, awesome, great movie in the MCU, that, now we go to the smaller movie, no pun intended, because of Ant-Man, but maybe it's because I was expecting something big after Infinity War. And you know what? I've seen Ant-Man and Wasp a couple of times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, no, this is not good. The acting's good, the little girl, Cassie, is great. Evangeline Lilly is great as Hope. Michael Douglas is great, Michael Pena is great. But the story and the action and really very little of a villain in that movie, it doesn't work for me. I like the first Ant-Man. I think that's one of the better movies in the MCU. But Ant-Man 2, not so great. So, like I said, this Ant-Man 3 could really go either way. It could be on the level of the first Ant-Man, or it can be on the level of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a trailer for that during Comic-Con. That would be nice. And then we got Guardians 3. But also, the problem is right now, we don't know what movie is going to end Phase 4. Normally, in every phase of the MCU, you know when the phase is going to end because there's an Avengers movie that kind of ends the phase. Because once again, each phase leads up to an Avengers movie. Well, right now there's no plans for an Avengers movie. I mean, unless we find out at Comic-Con next week that the Young Avengers, which is a lot of people's, either the Young Avengers or Avengers Secret Wars is coming. But even if we are getting Avengers something, guess what? It ain't coming out this year. It ain't coming out next year. It might be coming out in 2024, but I would say closer to 2025, if I had to be honest. Which means we're still over 3 years away for another Avengers movie. Which means, most likely, Phase 4 ain't gonna have an Avengers movie. So, that becomes a little bit of a problem. Because now you're gonna end this phase with probably, no big grand finale, like all the other phases, with Avengers 1, Avengers Age of Ultron for Phase 2, and obviously Avengers Infinity War Endgame for Phase 3. We might not have that for Phase 4. What we might have in Phase 4, we might not have an Avengers level movie. The only thing I could think of that could be not as high, but in the middle, would either be like a Fantastic Four movie that brings in the real big bad of the next maybe couple phases, and that's Doctor Doom, or Galactus, which is also part of Fantastic Four. That could be the next big level of oh shit. Or we get like the other movie that everyone wants, the X-Men in the MCU. And now the last between Miss Marvel and Doctor Strange, the X-Men are coming. They're coming. So that could be maybe the Avengers-like grand finale of Phase 4. The X-Men are in the MCU now. We got Xavier, Magneto, Wolverine, Cyclops. And let me tell you, I've heard a rumor about who's playing Cyclops. And they might be announcing it next week at Comic-Con. And let me tell you, I'm excited. I am 100% loving this casting choice for Cyclops. Oh my god. I have said this actor's name a lot lately. I'll just leave it at that. And to know now that he might be playing Cyclops, I am on cloud 9. Oh boy. Like I say, if they bring this actor out next week to announce that X-Men movie, and that this actor is playing Cyclops, I think a lot of people are going to be jumping up and down. I really do. He has the look perfectly. Like, if you were to take Cyclops out of the comics and find that actor, this is that actor. 100%. No doubt about it. So I am excited to maybe find that out next week. But anyway, I'm going to get into some things here now, going through Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and how those phases work where Phase 4 is not working right now. Phase 1. Like I said, Phase 1 started out in 2008, and that was the first Iron Man movie. First Iron Man. Then, a month later, in June of 2008, we got The Incredible Hulk. Alright? I enjoyed that movie, the very black sheep in the MCU, because, number one, they changed out the actor from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo by the time we got the Avengers movie. The design of the Hulk changed between The Incredible Hulk and Avengers. We never saw Liv Tyler return as Betty Ross. We didn't even see William Hurt return as General Ross until Civil War. So 8 years later. And now that we're getting She-Hulk next month, it's going to be the first time we see Tim Roth back as Neil Blonsky, Abomination, since The Incredible Hulk. So, I mean, but I enjoy these. I think that's actually one of the more underrated MCU movies. But guess what? After that, we didn't get another Marvel movie until 2010 with Iron Man 2. And by that point, we knew who the leader of the MCU was. Or one of the main leaders. Iron Man. Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. And then guess what? And then we didn't get anything until a whole year later with Thor in 2011, May 2011. Then we waited 2 months and we got Captain America the First Avenger in July 2011. I think right now you're starting to see where I'm going with this. Like I said, in the past year and a half, we have gotten 7 Marvel movies. It will be 7 Marvel movies by the end of the year. In the first 3 years of the MCU, we only got 4 Marvel movies. We didn't get anything in 2009. Not to mention, if you add up the shows that we've gotten since January 2021 till now, we are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By next month, we'll be up to 8 Marvel TV shows and 7 movies by the end of the year. That's a lot of content. So let's keep going now. So then after Captain America in 2011, in July of 2011, we didn't get another Marvel movie until May of 2012. And that was the first Avengers. Yay, great movie, awesome. They did it. They brought everyone together. They fought off the big bad. And by the end of that movie, what happened? What happened? You should know what happened. We had this purple man out in space turn, look at the camera, and smile. Now I remember going into a movie store in Savannah, because that's when the movie came out, when I was still in college, and someone thought that was Hellboy at the end of the movie. I go, no, I don't think that's Hellboy. That's in another, Hellboy is owned by another property, not Marvel. So no, I don't think that's Hellboy. But anyway, most people knew, oh, this is Marvel's Endgame. Thanos. So by that point we knew who the big bad was going forward in the next 2 phases. Thanos. And we also knew by this point that the whole phase 1 was about getting the team together, building the team, and then them fighting off the bad guys. But then by phase 2 and 3, it was all about the stones. The Infinity Stones. So then after Avengers 2012, a year later, we got Iron Man 3. Then after Iron Man 3, we didn't get another Marvel movie until November that year of 2013 with Thor 2, The Dark World. And once again, just like in Thor 2, we were introduced to one of the Infinity Stones. Then after Thor 2, we got Captain America the Winter Soldier, considered one of the best MCU movies, and that was in April of 2014. Then it wasn't until August of 2014 where we got Guardians of the Galaxy, also considered one of the best MCU movies. Once again, that's a movie that had an entire scene with Thanos, once again dealing with another Infinity Stone. And then after that, we went into 2015 with Avengers Age of Ultron. And guess what? By the end of that movie, we were introduced to Vision, which played a major part in Phase 3. We dealt with another Infinity Stone. And once again, by the end of the movie, we saw the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. Thanos is coming. Okay? Now we go into 2015. In July of that year, we got Ant-Man. And we started getting into the quantum realm and the pin particle, which is also becoming a major factor now. And so then we went into 2016, and we got Captain America Civil War. Once again, dealing with a whole lot of stuff. Vision, Infinity Stones, the breaking of the team, introducing Black Panther and Spider-Man. Then we got Doctor Strange. Did we only get 2 movies that year? We might have. Unless I'm missing one. No, then we got, Doctor Strange in November of that year. Then we got into like other dimensions and all that fun, different realms, all that fun stuff. Once again, another Infinity Stone. Then in 2017, we got Guardians 2, we got Spider-Man Homecoming, we got Thor Ragnarok. So that was the first year we got 3 movies in 1 year. Most of the previous years, it was either 1 or 2 movies, tops. By 2017, we started to see a change. Now we got 3 movies. Then in 2018, we had Black Panther, which introduced more of vibranium and all that. We got Avengers Infinity War. We got another movie that year, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And we got, did we get another one by the end of that year? No. But that was what, 3 movies that year, 2019. We got Captain Marvel. We got Avengers Endgame. 27, yeah, we already did that, Thor Ragnarok, 2017. Okay, we got Captain Marvel in 2019. We got Avengers Endgame in 2019. And we got Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019. And Spider-Man Far From Home was like the epilogue of Endgame, in a way. And that ended Phase 3. Endgame. Big bad guys. And guess what happened at the end of Endgame? We lost Tony Stark, our main lead. We lost Cap. He got old. Went back in time. We lost our main lead. We lost Black Widow. She died. One of the original Avengers. We still had Thor, Hulk, and Hawkeye. But here we are, and guess what? Doctor Strange is not an Avenger. They even said that in the recent Doctor Strange movie. Hulk, we don't even know what... I guess we'll find out more in the She-Hulk TV show to find out what he's doing. So, once again, Hulk, not an Avenger really. At least not that we know of. Black Panther, I think Chadwick Boseman was going to be the main Avenger, but Black Panther is dead, or the actor that played him. So that ruined their plans. Spider-Man is owned by Sony, so Spider-Man can't be the lead. Captain Marvel's too new. Hawkeye is human, so we don't know what's gonna come out of Hawkeye right now. That's still up in the air. So, right now, one of the main problems is in Phase 4 is we don't have a leader. We don't have a Tony Stark. We don't have a Captain America. We have nobody. So we're watching these movies and it's like, we don't have one main person. Not even Thor is like a main leader. He's still figuring out his life. I mean, so that's problem number 1 with Phase 4. There's no leader. There's no main focus of a character. That's a problem. For the past 11 years, we were focusing on mainly Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. That's why when we got to Civil War and we had that Cap and Iron Man arguing and fighting, you were really on that level of, do I root for Iron Man or do I root for Cap? Because they've been so strong in the MCU. If they were to have another Civil War right now, nobody would care who won, whose side should we be on. It wouldn't matter. So that's number one, there's no leader. Number two, there's also no clear direction. Like I just said in my little rant, if you will, or little history. Phase 1 was about getting the team together, fighting the big bad. Phase 2 and 3 was getting the Infinity Stones, leading up to Thanos, seeing the separation of the team. The first one, the Avengers 1 was about building the team, getting them together. By Age of Ultron, we saw the team starting to break, especially between Tony and Steve. And then we got into Civil War and they really broke apart. While also dealing with introducing the Infinity Stones. And then of course, the big bad looming throughout. Right now, we don't know who the big bad is. We don't know where this phase is going. We don't even know what they're looking for, what is their end goal, their end game. We don't know. We are, like I said, we are in 7 movies in about, what did I say, like 7 or 8 shows in, a year and a half in, and we've gotten all these shows and movies, and we have no idea where any of this is leading so far. That's all of Phase 1 and most of Phase 2. And we don't know where we are in Phase 4 right now. And like I said, between Phase 1 and between the TV and the movies, we still don't have a leader. That's a problem. And also, there's no connection in these movies or TV shows in Phase 4. At least all the other phases, Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, there were connections, lead-ups. Even the post-credit scenes meant something. Even if it was something very small, it meant something. Right now, I watch these and I'm like, I can watch any of these movies and not seeing anything else and know what's going on. Other than for WandaVision and Doctor Strange, where you did have to see WandaVision to understand Doctor Strange 2, that's the only one. But in terms of all the other movies and TV shows, now I'm not saying you gotta watch them all to understand. That was like Phase 1 or 2 or 3. I know so many people went and saw the first Avengers movie without seeing anything except maybe the first Iron Man. And then you still got what was going on. Well, right now, like I said, with all the material we've gotten so far, we still have no idea where we're going in this phase. Like I said, there's no looming threat. At least by the end of Phase 1, we know Thanos is coming. We don't know when, but we know he is coming. And guess what? It worked out. It lived up to what we wanted. Right now, we have no idea who the real threat is. Is it Kang? That was introduced in Loki. And we're going to see him in Ant-Man 3. Is it him? Because it's weird to have him show up in an Ant-Man movie if he's supposed to be the big bad of these new phases. That would be a weird move for Marvel. I mean, is it going to be the X-Men? For all we know, the X-Men could be a threat to the Avengers. That could be a movie. Avengers vs. the X-Men. That is an actual comic. I mean, that would actually be pretty cool, in my opinion. And then, of course, The other question is, or the other threat could be, Doctor Doom. We all want to see Doctor Doom. And even in those other Fantastic Four movies, and I mean even the ones that were still entertaining, like the 2005 Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, they still didn't do Doctor Doom right. We all want to see Doctor Doom done right. Why? Because Doctor Doom is one of the most powerful villains in all of in all of Marvel. He has fought everybody in Marvel. Everybody. That's why he's like the perfect next threat post Thanos would be Doctor Doom. So, is Doctor Doom the next threat? Maybe. But once again, does that mean we gotta wait for the Fantastic Four movie? Which could be another 2 or 3 years away. I mean, that means that once again we're gonna be still getting movies and TV shows and still have no idea who the big bad is. Now, yes, I know a lot of you are going, but Matt, guess what? The first Iron Man movie came out in 2008, like you said. And we didn't get a glimpse of the main threat of this MCU, Phase 1, 2, and 3, until the Avengers movie in 2012. That was 4 years later. That, we're only in about a year and a half. What the fuck? Well, my little friends of mine, the difference is back then, by the time we got to the Avengers, we only had five movies prior to that. And each of them were there, other than the Iron Man 2 movie, which was the only sequel, the others were origin movies that introduced the characters. And once again, all of Phase 1 was about introducing these characters and building them to be a team, working as a team, getting them together to work as a team. That was the goal of Phase 1. We are in Phase 4, and we don't see any goal. We don't see any goal right now. Building a team, a looming threat. We don't got nothing. We're just getting introduced to new characters. And other than seeing Thor 4 and Doctor Strange 2, the only two we've known about, everything else has been new characters. So, and there's been no team. There's no I in team. It's just been I, Hawkeye, I, Doctor Strange, I, Thor, I, Shang-Chi, I, Eternals. How is this went? Anyway, so that's a problem. They don't have a goal. They don't have an end game. We don't have a looming threat right now. And it's like, okay, that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Now, some people have said that maybe we'll see Doctor Doom in Black Panther 2. I hope so. That would be cool. Maybe some even said we might see something in She-Hulk, like maybe a Fantastic Four character. That would be something that. Oh yeah, we need to know the big bad. I don't care if it's at the end of Black Panther 2, and we see fucking Doctor Doom walking into Sokovia, which is now representing Latveria, and he walks in and rebuild Sokovia into Latveria. Fine. Then we know, okay, we know what's coming. Dr. motherfucking Doom is coming. The Fantastic Four are coming. The Dr. Doom's gonna fucking mess everything up. He might be the one to start Secret Wars. Thank you. Now we have our endgame. Let's get to that. Let's build to that. But right now we don't know. And then my last and final argument is, if you followed what I said earlier about each year how the movies get out from 2 to nothing to 1 to 1 to 2 to 2, 3, and then other than for last year where we had 4, and that was a lot mainly to do with the pandemic and nothing coming out in 2020, and they had to cram everything in 2021 in the second half. That way, they don't push even more stuff back, because now they had to delay their timeline because of the pandemic. So last year we got 4 movies out, which is rare, and this year we'll have 3 movies out, which is normal. Well, don't forget, we're getting all this TV stuff too. So between the movies and the TV, we're getting inundated with so much Marvel stuff for the past year and a half now. And it becomes a little too much. Like, that saying you can never have too much of a good thing. Well, when all of this stuff is coming, and none of it's not top tier Marvel that we're used to, that becomes a problem. And we're getting inundated, like I said, with all this stuff. And yes, a lot of it had to do with the pandemic. Like I said, a lot of the Marvel shows were going to be more spread out. But then everything got delayed. Marvel is catching up now. They're on a treadmill, and they just can't stop. Go, 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 go. Gotta catch up, gotta catch up. We have all these other movies coming. We gotta get back on track. Put them out, put them out, put them out, put them out. Let's go, let's go. And the problem is, like I said, it's becoming too much. Like I said, we're getting another Marvel show in just a couple weeks after we just got Thor: Love and Thunder. And then before Love and Thunder, we had Miss Marvel. And then before Miss Marvel, we had Doctor Strange. And then before Doctor Strange, we had Moon Knight. And then before Moon Knight, we had Spider-Man No Way Home. And then before Spider-Man No Way Home, we had Eternals. And then before Eternals, we had, what was it? Oh yeah, after Spider-Man No Way Home, we got Hawkeye. And then after Hawkeye, we had Eternals. And then after Eternals, we had, What If? After What If, we had Shang-Chi. After Shang-Chi, we had Loki. And then we had Black Widow. And then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then we had WandaVision. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? I mean, it just keeps coming. Then it becomes like, okay, I need a breather. I need to relax. I need some time away from Marvel. And that's why I haven't even watched Moon Knight yet. People have said that's actually one of the better MCU shows. I still think WandaVision's the best so far. But because I feel like, I just got done with Miss Marvel. I enjoyed that for what it was. But the problem with these shows is they're too short. 6 episodes at only 30 minutes each is not enough. We used to complain that Netflix would have only like 9 episodes or 10 episodes a season. Well, when you only have 6 episodes a season on your Marvel shows on Disney, and each episode is only about 30 minutes long, that's a problem. So, you're not telling enough story in that time. So, but let's get back to the main question. Is Marvel buckling now after Endgame? No. And the reason why I say that is, I'm sure they have a plan. And they're slowly building to that. And they are having to introduce a whole lot of new characters. And once again, a lot of our main characters that we followed in Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 died. Or in real life, like Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman actually died. So, it does become a problem. And then we have like a character like Spider-Man, who Marvel doesn't own. And also like Hulk. Marvel doesn't own Hulk either. That's why we haven't had a solo Hulk movie since The Incredible Hulk in 2008. Now there's a rumor right now that we're going to get a World War Hulk miniseries. That's going to be like, each episode is going to be like a feature-length movie, and it's going to be like 4 episodes, but it's going to feel like a 4-hour movie. Almost like a Infinity War and Endgame type of thing. We'll find out at Comic-Con maybe. That would be cool. But still, when you lose most of your main characters, and then one of them dies, and 2 of them Marvel doesn't own. And like I said, we don't know what Doctor Strange is not an Avenger. Captain Marvel is out in space doing whatever. You have to rebuild. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the rebuilding of the MCU. And we're all just sitting here going, what is the plan? Who is the threat? What are we doing here? And that's the problem. Because like then we were spoiled for 11 years with at that time 22, 23 Marvel movies. Well, now we're like, okay, we've seen you at your best. And we've seen you at your best. Right now you are not at your best. You're here. We want you here. With me, without me. With me, without me. And that's how we feel right now. Am I still enjoying the movies? Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm trying to put together my MCU ranking that I'm going to put out at the end of the year after I see Black Panther 2. And I'm going to admit, a lot of the recent Marvel movies are on the lower tier of that. You know? So, not that I'm saying that every phase has had a weak Marvel movie. They have. Some people say Iron Man 2 is the weakest of Phase 1. Some people say The Dark World, Thor in the Dark World, is the weakest of Phase 2. Phase 3, some people say Captain Marvel. I would have said Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, every phase had a weak movie. But I don't think, but Phase 4 has seemed to have the weakest, more than one movie in any phase so far. And that's the problem. Then when you add the TV shows on top of it, that really haven't lived up to their hype, that's even more of a letdown. So anyway, like I said, I think there's still a lot of exciting stuff to come. Fantastic Four, the X-Men, still looking forward to Blade, whenever that movie comes out. They announced that back in 2019. We're 3 years since that, and there's still no movie, still no release date. I don't even think they started filming that movie yet. So, like I said, we'll see. Maybe we'll find out what their plans are for Spider-Man. But right now, like I said, I know where a lot of people are coming from, because I've seen a lot of videos of people going like, what is Marvel doing? But I think we're going to be headed in a good direction. And I'm hoping in the next, maybe Black Panther 2 and Ant-Man 3. And then like that, after Comic-Con next week, we do have a true roadmap of this is where we're heading. So we'll see. Until then, Matt the Man here. Once again, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out this coming week. So look forward to those. And once again, Tony Stark here for today, covering Marvel stuff. So I had to wear the shirt. Anyway, adios.